Okay, welcome to the Chatting with Steve show that we're starting for the first time right now. This is my friend Steve Craig. Steve Craig and I think we know each other mostly from Rotary, I guess, but also from the university prior and the involvement with that. Yeah, faculty of management at the U of L. And Steve and I've known each other for a long time, and so I just thought Steve and I are going to wing a little conversation about how we perceive the future to be. This is like we're moving into the future. So, Steve, you haven't seen this. You watch this little video with me, and then we're going to discuss it a little bit. Okay?
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
It's been a good run, Stethoscope, but it's time for you to retire. Because there's a new kid on the block, and that is this. This is the Butterfly IQ Diagnostic Ultrasound. And this little device is going to change the way that medicine is practiced. It already is changing the way that medicine is practiced. This is going to replace the stethoscope. This little device plugs into my iPhone. And with it, I can instantly look at a patient's interior without radiation, without any big fuss. I can scan their neck and I can look directly at their carotid artery. I can see how much blood flow there is in there, if there's any blockages, how much calcification exists. I can look at their gallbladder and see if they have any stones. I can check the meniscus of their knee while they move their knee, and I can see if the meniscus is injured. I mean, this is a game changer. And I just got mine. I was on a waiting list for over a year to get it. I just got mine. I've only had it for a short period of time, and it's already blowing my mind. Specifically, the knee meniscus was incredible to look at. I mean, in the past, I'd have to take x-rays to look at the bones and then usually send people out for MRIs. But with this, I can check it like immediately in my office. And patients are just blown away by it as well. I mean, it is just such excitement based around this device. It's just incredible. It's just changing the way that we do everything we do in our office. And I mean, even if you're like a massage therapist, right? Or physical therapist, you can benefit from the Butterfly IQ because, for example, if you have a patient with a fascia restriction or a fascial restriction in their back or in their arm or in their neck, you can see the fascia on this ultrasound. You can have a person move their neck and you can see the area of the neck that's not moving properly in the soft tissue. Then you can do some myofascial release or some work on it or some stretching. You can rescan it and see instantly if your treatment has been effective or not. So, I mean, this is going to become the new stethoscope, for sure. I mean, you're going to start seeing these in every clinic. And, in fact...
Okay, there's more, but that gives you a pretty good taste. This is a pretty amazing tool, right?
It certainly is, with the direction that we're headed with healthcare, doing a lot more online, that sort of thing. Yeah, it could be obviously a game changer.
Yeah, that's the way I see it as well. With COVID, most of us or many of us have gone online for medical consultations. The limitation of that process, I mean, it's great. You can get somebody really quick. I mean, there's so many different ways to access a medical professional remotely, but they can only see what they can see via video. So my thought is, you think about that. And by the way, Steve and I don't own Butterfly IQ or own any shares in Butterfly IQ. We're not promoting this in any way. It's just a cool piece of technology that I envision people like Steve and I will have one of these. And when we contact the doctor will say, plug in your IQ blah, blah, blah thingy and hold it over here and, or hold it wherever to kind of do the diagnosis. So I see it as being something that will further improve remote type medicine type delivery. Does that make sense to you, Steve?
Yeah, if you're in a remote community, that's the first thing I thought of, is if you're in a remote community, what an amazing tool.
Yeah.
I did have a couple of questions. Am I allowed to ask you questions?
Yes, you can. I can't say I'll have any good answers, Steve, but I would love to hear your question.
Well, when they talk about the iPhone, so what if you don't have an iPhone, I guess would be a question.
Right.
Is this something that you have in your home, or is it something that the doctor sends you prior to some appointment? Like, is this something that somebody has to buy, or?
Well, I am sure that it's as he said, he was on a year waiting list to get it. So he's obviously a medical professional, but I don't think it's restricted to medical professionals who buy them. They're about $3,000 is what they are. And yes, I'm sure that there's, it's a device, right? It's a peripheral that probably will work with any electronic device, as long as it's got the right software to run it, right? I would think. So he said iPhone because he has an iPhone probably, but
Right.
if probably there's other things that you could use. And I see it more that instead of that tool, that diagnostic tool being delivered just for doctors, that patients will do it. Like, like that I might buy one, right? And I would buy one so that if I have a medical consultation, instead of them saying, yeah, we really can't tell you what, you have to come in for an appointment, we say, hey, got my thing connected to you. You can see what I see through this device. And then they guide me to do the diagnostic part, right?
Right.
Sort of is what I'm thinking. So anyways, is that what's going to happen? I don't know, but that's a pretty exciting thing, right? That could make a huge difference, especially again for people who it's not just a convenience thing. I'm not going seeing the doctor. It's a physical location thing. They can't get to the doctor, or maybe their health is so they're so susceptible to catching other diseases or those kind of
Right.
things that entry into a medical facility would be a problem, right? So like, with your mom, if you want to help your mom and your mom really is kind of very sketchy on terms of her health and you don't want to expose her to other potential infections, maybe you would be able to say, hey, doc, I got this. Tell me where you want me to put it to watch whatever it is you want to see here. So anyways, that's kind of my.
Yeah, and my mom actually has an appointment in June in Calgary, so a 2-hour drive, which is going to be an incredible day for her. A 2-hour drive up, waiting in a waiting room, going through that process, a 2-hour drive back. She'll be absolutely exhausted by the end of that trip.
Yes.
Whereas with something like this, potentially, she doesn't have to leave her room.
Exactly. And I mean, further about like just the care for the individual to make it less stressful for them to get the medical care they need. Further to that, you think about a family who's like, one $500 bill away from living on the street kind of a thing, right? That something goes wrong and they have to go and take their child to somewhere remotely to do these tests. Well, instead, if they could save their travel time, if they could still go to work, right? If they could do those things, their life is going to be way better as well, right? So
yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, you ready for one more?
Sure.
I think we got that one figured out. Okay, here's a new one. Hang on a second. I'm going to show you something else that I thought is super cool. This will probably get syndicated, Steve. We'll be famous, in no time. So, hey, this one here, watch this.
112 operator, what is your emergency?
It's my dad. I think he had a heart attack. Please help. He's not breathing anymore.
Please stay calm. What's your name?
Joanna.
Good. Joanna, we've got your location. The ambulance drone is on its way. Remove his top shirt to uncover his torso.
Okay.
Great. Can you go to the nearest exit? The ambulance drone is almost there.
Okay. I'm outside.
I'll be talking through the drone now, so you can put down the phone. Now please pick up the drone and bring it to your father. You're doing great. Okay, pull the green lid. Now place the pads on your father's chest. Good, I can see that the pads are properly applied. Joanna, please stay clear of your father. We'll take it from here.
So, isn't that amazing? Hey?
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, again, it's about it's about ease. I mean, you don't have to worry about traffic. You don't have to worry about whether somebody is available necessarily. I mean, obviously the dispatcher has to be available, but aside from that, it's almost instant help.
Exactly. So, and as you said, there's no traffic to worry about. The drone lifts up. It runs like about 100 k's an hour in the air, right? So it just zooms right over to where it is, stops, and then they pick it up and walk in and do their thing. So I think that's like a very optimistic view of what the future might hold in terms of access to care for you and I when we are old and decrepit, which is years, decades from now. That we would have other tools available to us that we don't have today, like these two kind of things. So,
well, and the amazing thing with stuff like this is it tends to lead to other things, right? I mean, it's the changes we've seen in the last decade with technology is absolutely incredible, and that early stage technology always leads to other, bigger and better things. And so, yeah, it's amazing how much. And I mean, with the healthcare system that right now, I mean, people can argue whether it's broken or whether but certainly it is stressed. And
yeah.
these are the types of things that will take a lot of stress off the healthcare system as well, I think.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And make it more patient focused. How is it easier for the patient to access the care quickly and in as convenient a way as possible, right? Like,
Right.
even driving, like what you were saying about driving your mom to an appointment, right? You drive and then you got to find parking, then you got to help her get into the building, and there's like it's a big ordeal kind of a thing, right? And then anytime you go into a hospital, there's sick people in hospitals, right? If you don't have to expose yourself to that, why would you, right? If you don't have to. So,
Right.
yeah. So, Steve, this is our episode. How did you like it? Was it fun?
Brilliant. It was actually quite a lot of fun.
Excellent.
I think I might be a
Excellent.
regular.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, one show does not make a podcast, but we'll chat again later.
I should say I'll be a regular if you want me to be a regular.
Well, your insights were exceptional, Steve. I couldn't have pulled it off without you, buddy.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
All right. See you later.